Tell me about the dead bodies that you're looking for. What's the typical dead body that you're finding when you're walking these properties?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah. One of our ideal buy is, an older, couple who's owned it for 15, 20, 25 years, who's lived there on a park, and have a great relationship with the residents, which is great. But you look at a rent, for example, one park we bought last year, the owner has owned it for a long time. The rent they charged $150 a month versus the market, you're looking at 250, 300, right?
Wow.
So it's managed for occupancy versus managed for rent. So those will be kind of like the low hanging fruit. We go in there and we do some work and then boom. So I would say that's probably one of the biggest value add that we can find. Operational inefficiency, we go in and we improve the operation and have the proper manager and use the software and increase the operation efficiency. Yeah. What are some of the others, Paul, that we're looking at?
Yeah, they're just bad operators. And you're talking about, Chris, talking about some dead bodies, some things that we're trying to look for. That
like septic tank issues.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think, the cool thing about RV parks is there's not a lot of things to look for. I mean, like I said, you're eliminating looking at roofs and floors and sheetrocks. So you want to make sure your plumbing's good, right? You want to look at your plumbing. You want to look at your, let's talk about septic tanks, for instance. And we buy parks with septic tanks. We are not scared of them at all. A lot of people are. They don't understand them. Underwrite it as if you had to replace every one of them, right? Underwrite it that way. And if you have to replace every single one of them and you can, and the deal works, do the deal, right? But get them looked at, find out how old they are if you can, get them scoped, figure out, because those things will last a very long time. I mean, 50, 100 years if they're maintained correctly.
Right.
And the good thing about RV parks is you don't have families living in them, right? Usually it's 1 to 2 people. You will have families that when they travel, a lot of short-term transient, but they're there 1 or 2 days or a week or whatever. So a lot of people that stay longer, if they're working somewhere on a job or if they're retired or whatever the case may be, it's 1 to 2 people. So, you got to manage that across the board too. Electrical, understand the panels, get a good electrician that can take a look at it. And also you want to look and when you buy a park, also make sure you don't landlock yourself. See if you can find something that you can, have potential develop to expand. That's something that's important, right? How can I buy this park and expand? Like on this last deal, we bought 3 acres with this park, right? So that we can expand this park on whether we do pads. And for this case, we're actually going to do storage because of the demand so high. And the cost basis is so low and the return is great. And the maintenance is very low. So everything that we're looking for, in RV parks. What else? So electrical, septics, there's just not
insurance. I would think insurance is pretty low as well.
Yeah, it's not high. It's not extremely high. You definitely want to make sure you're insured correctly. You have a lot of moving pieces. Another thing you really want to look out for is no pit bulls, at the park. Don't let pit bulls get there. The insurance rates get pretty aggressive. You have kids and stuff that are walking around. Pit bulls are a big deal. You want to pay very close attention to dogs. Have a certain rule in place for dogs, small dogs, no dogs over, 20 pounds or whatever the case may be. And all dogs have to be on leashes, so on and so forth. Because there's been incidents with bites, little kids, they'll go up and try to pet or this and that. People love to sue, and amenities. You want to look for amenities. It doesn't matter where the park is, right? As long as it's next to you need certain things, right? It needs to be close to a Dollar General. It needs to be close to a Walmart. RVers love to be outside people. So if you can find a boat launch or a kayak launch or some outdoor activity that is close to, or a short drive, it's even better. You'll fill your park up so much faster.
Interesting. Talk to me about the money side. Do y'all syndicate these things like multifamily that you see quite often, or what does that look like on the deals you've done?
Yeah, we syndicate most of the deals, Chris. Some deals will, put our own money into there, and it's just a deal we really trust and believe in. But to answer your question, yes, we always bring in equity partners or LP into the deal and for our GP, and we'll have maybe sometimes 1 or 2 other GPs, but we syndicate most of our deals.
I'm assuming y'all got a typical structure that you try to stick with. Can you describe that structure with your LPs?
Yeah, so our big thing is capital preservation. That's why we need to have a 30% equity from day one, even though most of our deals, I think we're at 40 to 45% equity from day one. So what we do is we will communicate with our LP, and all of them are accredited investors and hang out with individuals, et cetera, that we are going to do our best to do the value add, do a capital refinance, and return your capital at or before the 3-year mark, get all your capital back, and still keep your same ownership percentage in the deal, and which is plan to hold on to those deals for the next 10 or 15 years. And chances are, if someone gives us a check of $250,000 or $100,000, whatever it is, by the day that they get their money back, they're likely to want to send us the same check because now they're in multiple deals with the same money.
Right.
So that's our deal structure, is the emphasis on the return of capital as well as the capital preservation.
And the model right there that you described is what blew my mind when I got into the multifamily realm. I was like, you're telling me that I can put my money in here and then I get it back and I can deploy it back over here and I'm still sitting 100% passive in this deal because of my equity. It was a no-brainer. I mean, especially with as much stimulus money that's been stuck out into the nation in the last couple of years, there's so much money flooding the market that it has to be put somewhere. So why not let it have that velocity and go in and out of these deals, and you're still reaping cash flow and sale proceeds and the depreciation factor that you get on your taxes if you've got other passive income or if you're, a full-time real estate investor.
One of the questions, of course, we got quite a bit is, hey, Jeff and Paul, what if, something were to happen after 3 years and every single bank closed down, not get our money back, et cetera? So, because most of the investors are family and friends, right? So, hey, no problem. Yeah. So we actually have it written in our operating agreement that for whatever reason, you're not able to get every single penny of your money back in 3.5 years. We're going to sweep 100%, not 90, not 95, 100% of all the future cash flow to pay you guys back, right? So it kind of puts us in a position where we want to make sure we outperform the expectation. So some parts we bought, 8 to 9 months ago, even though we told the investors, hey, 3 years we're looking at, but guess what? Right before this call, point out on the call with the lender, we have probably had, 8 to 10 conversations with 10 different lenders to try to figure out to have a lender to build those relationships. So if we can do a cash or refinance way before the 3-year mark, why not, right? So under promise and over delivery is another thing that we are pretty big believer on, and we'll try to just crush the number as much as possible.